Board Games Insider, a proud member of the Dice Tower Network. But just how did Tom Vasel allow this to happen? The world may never know.
This is Board Games Insider, where publishers Ignacy Cevicek, president of Portal Games, and Stephen Bonacore, president of Stronghold Games, discuss the hobby board game industry from the inside, providing you with news, advice, and a look behind the curtain into both of their companies. Ladies and gentlemen, here are Ignacy and Stephen.
Ho, ho, ho! This is Ignacy Cevicek, Portal Games.
And this is Stephen Bonacore from Stronghold Games and Indie Game Studios. Ignacy, this is episode 128. We are recording on December 19th, 2019. Board Games Insider is a proud member of the Dice Tower Network, and we are just vassals of Tom Vasel.
Oh, that's interesting.
I don't know if that works I don't know if you can translate that, but that's a vassal is a servant. Anyway, Ignacy, what time of the year is it? It's the most wonderful time of the year.
Oh my God.
There's my singing for the morning. It's very early here, so a little hard to sing. But anyway, everything is right now preparation for Christmas, really, and then New Year's and the holidays. That's what's going on for me, really. I mean, there's obviously some stuff inside the company too, but I'm excited. We're less than a week away from Christmas now. Christmas in Florida without family for the first time ever I will be, and I'm going to purposely go in the pool on Christmas to torture my, New Jersey friends. I think that's just a good tradition to continue going. What are you going to do around the holidays?
I will be resting. I'm already in a Christmas mood. Tomorrow we go to work, but we will be playing games and having just fun. Today was my last real day at the work. As I put in the in the show notes, I'm now 24 hours without social media. Why? Because I don't want to see any spoilers about the Star Wars movie.
That's great.
I'm going to watch Star Wars movie tomorrow, so today I'm not checking Facebook because there are some jerks who spoil things. So very difficult time for me to not check my social status.
You're going on Friday evening, I guess.
Yes.
I'll be going on Saturday evening. I think that's when I got my tickets. Or actually, I'm going to go in the afternoon to make sure that I'm wide awake. And then after it's over, I'll have dinner. So it's perfect timing. I'm very much looking forward to Star Wars.
Oh, yes.
Star Wars Rise of the Resistance, just to make sure everyone knows what we're talking about. But how could you not know, right? So
if you don't know what we are talking, stop listening to the podcast. Please don't.
Come on, if you're not a complete geek, then you know what's going on. So anyway, but serious on the business side of things, what is happening at Portal Games these days?
Yeah, the summary of the whole year. We recorded another episode of our vlog in which I was discussing the highlights of the year for me. So we are basically looking back at the past 12 months. It is always very difficult to understand. So many things happened in the past few months. I just put here in the show notes. We did our first big Kickstarter for Pret-a-Porter. That was the highlight of the year. A huge surprise for us, positive surprise. I was on I don't know if you remember, in the spring I was on a tournée north of the Poland, meeting with fans the whole week on a trip and meeting with the fans in different pubs. That will be something I will remember forever. We did this amazing epic Portal Con celebrating 20 years of the company with the whole audience singing happy birthday to me and my team. A super moving moment for me, very emotional. And I will remember this, the whole room singing for us forever. And of course the highlight of the year for me, a nomination for Kennerspiel des Jahres for Detective Me, being in Berlin, being on the stage in this absolutely the highest moment for board game designer to be there. So things happen this year. It was a very good year for Portal Games. Of course, there were some bad moments that I will not discuss, but overall, amazing year for me. And now I am in the chill out moment of the year, resting, just having fun, playing some games, and preparing new energy for the new year. Today we finished the playtesting of another case for Detective for the season 1, the spin-off for detective, and it was the last test of this case in the company. So now in the company, every employee played this case. So today during the lunch break, they were able finally to talk with each other about the case, because now everybody played it, so they could talk and discuss, and so fun time. Basically, as I said, tomorrow we have a cake, we have sweets, we have a fun time at the office, and this is it. And we see each other in January. So good times.
Wow. So everyone's going to be off for a while, huh?
Yes. The whole 2 weeks are off. Everybody has to get their batteries back for January, for PortalCon, for new releases, etc., etc. So now I'm closing the company till January 6th.
Wow. You're very generous.
Oh, I'm the best boss.
Actually, a lot of that goes on in indie game studios as well. The entire Indianapolis team basically is going to be off for the holidays for 2 weeks. I will not be. I will take quite a bit of time though to relax.
You are releasing game on December 31. Like, you are crazy, sir.
Well, let's go right into that then. So what we have, by the time you hear this podcast will drop on Christmas Day, unless Mary doesn't, because Mary does the dropping for us now, right? I don't know if we ever said that. So on Christmas Day, you have a Christmas present from Ignacy and I. You should hear this podcast. I don't know if we'll do it on the 24th, 25th, or 26th, but anyway, Coffee Roaster, our great solo game, is releasing on December 23rd, a very strange Monday street date. I've already announced this to everybody out there. And the reason is because, well, you can't release on Christmas. It's basically who's working and it's a holiday. But PSI and the industry kind of created a Monday street date right at the end of the year. So Coffee Roaster, I highly recommend, if you're interested in this great solo game, that you definitely order it online if you do that, or pick it up on your friendly local game store. Make yourself a Christmas present, a solo present just for yourself, because we will most likely sell out of this game out of the gate. It wasn't a huge print run. It was enough that we thought we'd cover it for 6 months. It's probably not going to happen. So please go out and check out Coffee Roaster, phenomenal solo game with our partners DLP Games out in Germany. And also the much reported, the much touted, the much talked about Terraforming Mars Turmoil releases on December 31st. New Year's Eve party with Stronghold Games and Terraforming Mars Turmoil. Sounds like a great idea to me, because, Turmoil is all about politics on Mars. And guess what? You need more politics during your holidays, which is one of the biggest, I don't know if you know, obviously you know about lovely politics in the United States, but one of the biggest problems people have at their holiday dinners and things with family is everyone's screaming at each other about politics. So you need, this is a great way that you can scream about Mars politics during your holiday season. So have a New Year's Eve party with Terraforming Mars Turmoil, releasing on December 31st, 2019. And then the future releases, because we don't release early January. Basically, everyone's closed in the early part of January, and then we start shipping out sort of in the first week, and then the street date becomes the end of January. And we have a lot of things going on in both January and February. And we're going to have Aftershock, the great Alan Moon, Bobby West game, street dating on January 22nd, as well as the District 6 Aftershock District 6 expansion, which adds a 6-player and other event cards, also January 22nd. The Second Chance Second Edition, which basically just will put new graphics into the game, brighten it up a little bit, make it look more like our other roll and writes. This is a flip and write. So Second Chance Second Edition also will come out on January 22nd. Then moving a week later, Agiza Shifting Sands. That's the reprint of the Agiza game that came out about 10 years ago. We got it. We kickstarted it. It's coming out on January 29th. Then we have the Freedom and Freeze games, where you have Fire, the 1 to 2 player game about shooting aliens in space, space invaders. That's on February 5th. Fast Sloths and its expansion, Fast Sloths, The Next Holiday, both street dating on February 12th. And then, as I've been mentioning, we have pinned down the street date for Nova Luna, and that is going to be on February 26th. And just to make sure everyone knows, all the Kickstarters for Terraforming Mars Turmoil, Aftershock, and Agiza are shipping. certainly worldwide. We've basically done almost all of it in the U.S. Still some more to go. Sorry for some delays on that, but it's hard to ship 20,000 packages, overnight that quickly. Canada seems to be a little bit delayed because getting the games across the border and then shipping them out from there. So sorry, my Canadian friends, a little bit delayed, but it is in progress. It is in progress. So you should start seeing those games arriving very soon in Canada. The only thing that is a bit delayed is Demaker. Truly delayed. Demaker will slip to either late this month or early January shipping. Most likely early January shipping. And that's where we are, Ignacy. I have no more cons to go to until I'm the guest of honor at some cons, like starting in February. We'll talk about that next year. The 2020 Dice Tower Cruise, sort of a convention. That's late January. Can't wait for that. Tom gets to torture me for 5 nights on a ship where I can't get away from him.
You poor baby. 5 nights on a cruise.
It's tough, being on a cruise for 5 nights.
I can imagine.
with Tom. But anyway, that should be great. And of course, we're testing our prototypes and getting our schedule ready for 2020. I had a huge meeting yesterday trying to hammer down a very important project. If we get this project correct and we can get it done for this year, for this coming year, it's going to be a big one on Kickstarter. So that's the focus is that. I can't tell you more about it because I'll just get in trouble if I say another word about it. So that's where we are. Ignacy, are you ready?
Yes.
Let's go to the event deck.
The event deck. Here's the latest news from the board game industry.
Ignacy, he's typing into my show notes. Why are you typing into my show notes? I had these great show notes here, and you're typing. What's going on?
I'm doing it because this one news is important now, and if we would cover it in 2 or 3 weeks, that will be too late. So I'm changing the line. I'm changing the que, or how you pronounce this very strange word. We need to discuss it today.
I don't know the word you're trying to say, but I'm sure it's...
I will write it down so you can check it.
You're changing the Q. Is that it?
Oh yeah.
Q, there's no extra Q in there. There's only one. It's.
Well, let's focus on something important.
QUEUE. You're changing the Q, and you want to talk about BGG support, and that's a great thing to talk about actually, because I've said always that the 2 most important things that have driven this hobby forward are Tom Vasel. Yeah, okay, the Dice Tower Network. We have to give him a lot of props, but also Board Game Geek itself. Board Game Geek is a huge thing that has basically created a focal point of all things board gaming on the internet. And now, of course, every year they look for your support. So, Ignacy, why don't you tell us about what you're saying with Board Game Geek support?
Yeah, so as we already mentioned, this is the database for all board game users. You guys all know that, and we need all support that you can give to the site so the site can develop, be bigger, hire more content creators. This year, for the whole year, we were discussing new hires in a Board Game Geek team. We have Rodney Smith joining it, and Stephanie Stroh joining, and many more people. So this is not only these days, not only database as it used to be 5 years ago. Now it's the whole team that goes for convention, then does convention, does cruises. Like they do so much good for the whole community. From my perspective, of course, all these videos explaining the games, all this section with the files, with the rulebook, etc., etc. So this is the sign that is so much important to growth of our hobby. I'm supporter for many years. As I'm looking at the site at this point, there's 11,000 supporters for this year. And me personally, I ask all our listeners, if you want to support the hobby, drop some money to Board Game Geek. They do amazing service for the hobby.
Yep, every year I make sure that I give them my donation. I get my little badge there that shows that I'm a supporter, and I've been a supporter for 10 or more years, probably than that. Board Game Geek's 20th anniversary is coming up. Or maybe it's already passed, but they're now 20 years and strong. I think everybody out there should drop them some money if they can afford anything. If they can afford 25, I think it is, they get that free supporter badge, which is really nice. So thank you for bringing that up. That's a good one.
That's why I moved the something Q.
Q. Amazon.
Exactly.
So Stonemaier Games doubles its full-time work staff, basically going from 1 to 2.
This is mind-blowing for me. This is mind-blowing.
It's mind-blowing that Jamie does the whole thing himself, right? I mean, I did it also, for so many years myself, but, just now getting a second member is pretty amazing because he's doing so well. So Stonemaier Games has doubled the size of its full-time workforce, founder Jamie Stegmaier wrote on the company's blog, by hiring Joe Aubrey as the company's director of communications. Good title. Prior to the hire, Stegmaier had been the company's only full-time employee, despite its impressive sales, particularly on Wingspan, the hit board game of 2019, and Scythe. Aubrey will handle most customer interactions. Stegmaier expects to have increased time to devote to designing games, including a, quote, massive open-world exploration game. I hate Jamie Stegmaier. He's so smart. And he's so good at what he does. So he's a wonderful guy. Good luck to Joe Aubrey in his new role. I think that's wonderful for him and great for Jamie that he's expanding.
Huge respect for Jamie, what he did for the industry, what he did for his company. I don't understand how he can pull it off by himself so far, because he's not some small indie company. He's releasing a huge hits every single year, and he was doing it by himself. Additional respect from me, because I love marketing and I love being smart, and he sent a press release about new employee and he teased his new game, so kudos for that. Very smart.
Very, very smart way of doing it. So Games Workshop, of course, part of the hobby, but not part of board games really, right? We always talk about them as, not a direct competitor of us, but they're obviously a very big company in the hobby game space. They have issued a dividend, because they are publicly traded. Their stock continues to climb as they do so. Games Workshop stock continued to climb today after announcing a dividend of 45 cents per share on Tuesday. The stock is currently trading at $74 per share, up from $58 level it was trading at on November 8th. Big move. The dividend will be paid on January 8th for shareholders on the register by November 29th. The last date for elections for the dividend reinvestment is December 13th. So a publicly traded company, they can issue dividends to shareholders. This is what Games Workshop is doing. They normally, when you issue a dividend, actually your stock price normally goes down a little bit, but they are doing so well that their stock price continues to climb and just moving by $16 a share in a very short period of time is a tremendous move. So kudos to them. They continue to do well. A company that came from, almost bankruptcy a couple of years back, where they were losing lots of money, is now back with a vengeance, and it's very happy, and I'm very happy for them. It's good for the hobby.
Yeah, and I agree. And on one hand, we hear often during the news section, we make some fun jokes and we fool around because we want this podcast to be entertaining. But once in a while, these numbers drops, and this is like for the whole year we are talking about how Games Workshop is growing, and here in December we just give these numbers how this stock in 1 month. This is like 1 month from 58 to 74. Wow!
Yeah.
Congratulations, Games Workshop. You are doing it well.
Doing it really well. So here's something nice and directly related to our competitors in the industry. Jennifer Closen has been named the COO, which is Chief Operating Officer for Greater Than Games. Jennifer Closen has been named the Chief Operations Officer for Greater Than Games. Closen joined the company in 2014 as a graphic designer and was promoted to Creative Director in 2016. She will continue in this role along with her COO responsibilities. Quote, Jennifer has been a critical, stabilizing force at Greater Than Games. Her attention to detail and focus on quality and professionalism have been instrumental to our success and growth over the years, said CEO Paul Bender. Closen has worked on the Sentinel Comics line, along with the games such as New Bedford, Spirit Island, Homebrewers, and Medium. She has spent much of her 5 years with the company assisting behind the scenes with aspects of convention planning, organizing timelines for upcoming games and business ventures. I'm not sure. I believe I've met Jennifer in the past, but I'm not 100% sure. But kudos to her on the new role, obviously a very big role within Greater Than Games, and to all of my friends over Greater Than. Good for promoting and good for keeping good people working very strongly and bigger and better positions within the industry.
Absolutely. Congratulations. I don't know personally Jennifer, but I know the gang at Greater Than Games. I love these guys, so they are doing it well. Congratulations.
Excellent stuff. So they're back. Toys R Us. We constantly talk about these guys, right? And they're constantly they're doing bad. They're in bankruptcy. They come back. They go back to bankruptcy. No one knows what's happening. But guess what? Toys R Us opens its first new U.S. store in my old home of New Jersey. And they hope new, smaller interactive stores will turn the iconic brand around. The iconic chain will open its first new U.S. retail store Saturday at the Westfield Garden State Plaza in Paramus, New Jersey. I have never been there, but I know where this is. The store will feature a smaller footprint store with curated brands in an experiential space. True Kids, the company that formed this year after the bankruptcy, is hoping the smaller, immersive, modern shopping experience will turn the brand around. Toys R Us is built on the fabric of childhood and for more than 70 years has been the most trusted source for toys and play, said Richard Barry, CEO of True Kids. With the return of Toys R Us stores in the U.S., we are bringing a highly engaging, experience-driven retail destination that celebrates play and deepens the connection between the world's best toy, play, and entertainment brands and customers. So, it's interesting. They're kind of going to reinvent themselves. This is, I guess certainly this is not going to be big impact either on our portion of hobby, nor on games in general, because it's one store in one location. But it's interesting to see them turn around. If any of the people listening to us at this time has a chance to go out to the Paramus, New Jersey first U.S. store and their reinvented brand, please let us know. Maybe drop me a note at Steven@strongholdgames.com, Steven with a PH, and let me know how it goes. Maybe we'll report back on how this store looks after the holidays.
Yeah, the whole story with Toys R Us is getting more and more interesting for me because it sounds like a poor written scenario for the TV show. Like they are dead and they are back. Like this, like undead, not undead. Very interesting. What will happen next? But apparently there was some like huge business dying, and then they are back. Very interesting.
Absolutely.
Books.
Asmodee's book imprint.
Books.
Asmodee. We talked about their book imprint called Aconite. They love giving me words I can't pronounce.
Yeah.
Aconite is their book imprint, and they have announced the first wave of fiction based on tabletop IPs, which is very interesting. Asmodee's book imprint, Aconite, have announced the schedule for their first fiction books related to Asmodee's popular tabletop lines, including Arkham Horror, Legend of the Five Rings, Descent, Pandemic, and Keyforge. Wow. So they're going deep into their catalog of their biggest titles to bring out some books. The first wave will arrive in May. Aconite says more details on the books will be released in the coming weeks. The schedule is May 2020, Arkham Horror, Wrath of Nakai by Josh Reynolds. June 20th, Pandemic Patient Zero, Keyforge Tales from the Crucible also, etc., etc. There'll be a July release under the Descent name, and then one in August for Arkham Horror, The Last Ritual, and Legends of the Five Rings, Poison River. Very interesting. They're going to be taking our stuff meaning hobby board games, and putting them into print in various ways. I think this can only be good, certainly for their brands, but for us in general. Really cool stuff. Ignacio, what are you thinking?
I have two comments. One, of course, it has to be this one very simple comment. I did it already many years ago for Neuroshima. We released a book set in Neuroshima world, so of course Asmodee is ripping my ideas. And on a very serious note, we all remember from the 90s and 80s Dragonlance novels for role-playing games and all these Forgotten Realms stuff that we were reading as a younger little bit people back then, and we loved our role-playing games. We loved the games that we played, and then because there was more to consume, more to buy and enjoy, we were buying these books. So for me, as I am playing Arkham Horror LCG, as I am playing Legend of the Five Rings, yes, I am interested in these books because I enjoy these worlds, I enjoy these stories. So for me, it's a perfect, and I can easily see people buying pandemic books to, read the stories from this world. So I think it's a great idea. It's a great win-win. Like for Asmodee, of course, it's another product that you can sell to the customer. For us customers, it's another way to be entertained and enjoy the world that we already love. So kudos for them. I will buy a couple of these books for sure.
Excellent. I see that Ignacy is telling us that we have to go to the next segment.
Yes. Ignacy is ruining the party. Always the same.
You always ruin the party for everybody. We get these things all the time. So let's go to strategy and tactics.
Strategy and tactics. Some advice for you from Board Games Insider.
Okay, strategy and tactics section where we take questions from you, our Board Game Geek Guild fans. Make sure you post in the correct section there. This is from Josh Hengeler, who's Alpha Dork on BGG. As an outsider, wanting to be more than just a consumer in the industry, I find myself watching closely. I've noticed this industry has to do a really strange balancing act. Take Gamma, for instance. Gamma Drama. It is the Association of Manufacturers, but they also have a retail group. Manufacturers and retailers have similar interests, make people love games and sell. But direct sales for manufacturers and online sellers below MSRP suggest some conflict of interest. As publishers, how do you handle this balance? He's got another question, but let's start with that. How do we handle the balance of maybe some direct sales that we do plus the sales that we do through distribution? Ignacy, do you want to start?
Yeah, of course, it's a very difficult topic. We as a Portal Games, if we do direct sell to the end customer, we keep a MSRP because we respect our partners, that is retailers or distributors, so we don't sell below MSRP. Of course, there are some exceptions like Black Friday, but in general, from our website, we keep MSRP. And then, of course, for example, I had these situations. I go for the convention, I sell a game to the convention, then the retailer is complaining that I'm ruining his market because I'm going to his city and I'm selling my product in his city, and then he will sell less product. And I say, hey, I'm promoting my games in your city, you will sell more product. No, you are selling my city, you are ruining my market. So there's always discussion, there is always somebody not happy with what we are doing, there's always somebody who appreciates what you are doing, and as Josh said, I agree with him totally. It is all balancing act. We have to respect each other, and we have to understand that we and retailers and distributors, we all want to just grow, make money, make for a living, and have a great time selling great products. And we have to respect each other. That's it. But always somebody will be complaining.
Yeah, that is true. But to reiterate some things you said, plus more things, MSRP is correct. You have to sell. We as publishers must sell at MSRP so that we don't do much competition. Pre-orders that Stronghold was doing, these seed the market. And again, we sell them at MSRP, and it creates the buzz. If we get it some of those alpha gamers that have to have it first, seeds the market, creates the buzz. Then retailers do more sales. And most of all, when we do a Kickstarter, we have found, because of we as in indie game studios, indie boards and cards, have done 50 Kickstarters now. We have found that games that do well in Kickstarter do better through distribution. Why? Because we have created the buzz. We have created the market. We get the marketing benefits out of the Kickstarter, and then that fuels games going into distribution. So all of these things together, we do these things hand in hand. We want to help retailers to succeed. In the end, that's like the last line of getting things out there, and we want them to succeed, so we want to help create the buzz in the ways that we do it. It is a balancing act, but I think overall there are certain guidelines that you can have to make that work. Josh also says, related to this, every discussion I see around owning a game shop focuses on how hard it is to survive. Yeah, it is. That they do it for the love of the hobby, in which they no longer get to participate. However, local shops are one of the best ways to introduce hobby to people and provide a safe play space for the local community. All true. Where do you see the hobby retail world going over the next 5 years? And what do you think they should do to ensure survival. And he also says, thank you guys. I really love Board Games Insider. Josh, there's no magic formula here. Obviously, retailers are going to survive or partially survive on some of the core stuff that they do. Magic the Gathering has been a stalwart of what they do year after year, and they should obviously continue and do that. They should, between that and focusing on the core games that get people into the hobby, it's a great thing. And then from there, they should pick and choose maybe from the companies that they have most confidence in, the companies that will come into their stores and support them, like Stronghold and Indie Boards and Cards. We send people to stores, our Knights of the Stronghold, and we get them in there with games to help demo them. We do store splashes. So that's how retailers are going to survive, to balance between the different portions of the hobby, create events. Retailers always have had this regardless. The internet is going to be a factor against them, right? Amazon is a factor against them and other online retailers. But create a community in your store, and people will want to be there. They'll want to come. They will want to play in your space. And then, of course, they will buy games.
Yeah, this is exactly true. As you guys remember, about 2 years ago, I was running the whole seminar about how to survive in an e-commerce era for the retailers. And the whole conclusion of this 1 hour speech is that you have to be entertaining center. Like, people have to visit your store because they want to be entertained. Mm-hmm. You have to have these events and contests and tournaments and all this jazz. And you selling games, you are in a so much better position than the store that sells, I don't know, something other stupid. Board games are entertaining purpose, so you can do all this, as Steven mentioned, splashes, demos, events. So yes, the best stores will survive. And the others will have to compete with Amazon.
Hey!
And yes, it is very, very difficult. Yeah.
That's the first time you pronounced it correctly. Congratulations.
I'm doing my best.
Tom Little, who's Green Beehive on Board Game Geek, he says, you both have some great evergreen games, namely Terraforming Mars and Imperial Settlers, with decent number of expansions. So, yes, we do. How do you decide between ending the line and making more expansions? It seems like a fine line to me, because expansions bring new life into a game, but they can also water down the base game. Keep the expansions coming. With both games, by the way, the Amazon's expansion is Amazon. He done a little play there for you. The Amazon's expansion is Amazon. Very good. So this is a good question, and I think it's simply based on sales. And I will disagree strongly with the water down the base game comment. However, you don't have to use a given expansion to play, right? You know, if you say you even buy it, say Turmoil. Let's take Turmoil, right? It's the big expansion for Terraforming Mars that's coming up. People have it either from the Kickstarter or from a couple of conventions like Essen, or they're going to be getting it very soon, or street dating. If you bought it, and let's just say it just adds too much time to the game, is not so what? Well, you don't have to play with it anymore. You put that aside and just play with Prelude and Colonies, the ones you like. Sell Turmoil. So watering down is not something I agree with. Buy the ones you like, play with the ones you like. People will enjoy the game the way they want. Some people want to play and are purists and only want to play with the base game as it was originally released. That's cool too. We will continue to support games that are selling well. I think that's just standard good business practice. We want games that sell well. We want evergreen titles, and we want to support those games because the really rabid fans, they want to collect it all, and then they want to mix and match or play with all the expansions as they see fit. Nasi, what do you think?
Yeah, and everything you said, and the question, the main question was how we decide. It's a game of the numbers. This is the moment when we make fun that Ignacy doesn't like numbers, but of course Ignacy is running the business, so at some point he has to deal with numbers, and we just look at the pattern, how the previous expansion sold, and we need to decide if this is the end of the line because the expansion was not selling, or if there's enough customers who wants to buy expansions. We had a very interesting case this year with the 13th expansion for Neuroshima Hex. This is insane.
Wow.
There was 12 expansions already, and we were deciding publishing 13th. And we were scared a little bit, and we looked at the numbers, and we went very safe. So we decided, let's lower the print run because this is 14th expansion. And of course, guess what?
Sold out.
Of course, we were wrong. Sold out. We have to do reprint. It is insane. These fans are so loyal. They love this game so much. They want to complete all these additional armies, and there is no of the tiredness of the customer. No, they want all these expansions, all these armies, and now in the November we had to reprint this expansion, which is absolutely stupid. So this is how I read the numbers with my team, not believing in the customer. But on a serious note, numbers. You are just looking how every single expansion is selling more slow. At the same point, you say it makes no sense to release another one.
Absolutely. See, Tom, you gotta print. You print the games that sell. I mean, it's just business 101. Quint Wheeler, we've had questions from Quint before. I like that name, Quint. Q Wheeler on Board Game Geek. I've been listening since episode 1.
Thank you.
And my question is, yes, thank you, Quint. Why do you keep cutting off the news segment early?
Oh, traitor, Quint! What a stupid question it is.
I prefer you cut down some of the other segments, like questions, to fill in more news.
I'm cutting down this question. No answer for this question.
The answer, Quint, is because we want to give every segment about the same amount of time, and we want to keep you waiting for the next episode. We want very small bites. We get a lot of compliments on the fact that we have a reasonably timed podcast. 35, 45 minutes. So that's the goal. We're going to keep doing it like that. Thank you for being a big listener. And that's all. And Ignacy's a mean guy. That's the other reason. Greg Treppis, who is G Treppis02 on Board Game Geek. You didn't say anything, Ignacy. I'm very surprised. As someone who has worked many years in the IT field, what board games are you aware of that capture the job most accurately? I have been in search of a game that forces a player to use the same thought processes, planning, and risk management found in IT, which best encapsulates the theme and mechanics of a career in IT. Is there such a game? If so, do you feel it would be any fun? Well, first of all, Greg, we did Kanban, Driver's Edition. That's the current edition we have out there. And Kanban is specifically the game of process and project management in the automotive industry where Kanban started. And when I left the IT field, we were implementing Kanban practices in the applications area. We actually implemented them in the infrastructure project management area, but we decided it didn't work as well for infrastructure. But for the applications development side, Kanban is a great thing to use. So, does the board game Kanban Driver's Edition really show the processes that you would have in IT? No, I can't really say that. And I don't know that, actually putting and capturing an IT organization would make a great game. Hey, that's why I kind of left it, because it's mind-numbingly boring. But I don't know, Ignacy, does any games that you can think of that have an information technology theme that are, really capture that well?
I have only a silly answer, and I'm not sure if it was too many of my silly answers today, like if you are reaching the limit or not yet.
The limit of Ignacy's silly answers has been reached. No, go ahead. What's a silly answer?
My connection with IT is not that big. I only have some connection with IT field by Portal Games Digital, and my experience with Portal Games Digital is that there is one game that somehow represents what's going there, and this is the game from Stronghold Games called Fast Slots. Because these guys are lazy, they always delaying the product, and I hate Portal Games Digital with my whole heart. And that was my silly, honest answer.
Very silly, very silly, very silly. All right. You know what? With that, we're going to go directly to our playtesting segment, the new one.
Playtesting, where Ignacy and Steven question you.
All right, Ignacy. So first of all, I had to put into our plate.
No, you didn't have to put. You wanted, because I was about to do this, and when I went to Board Game Geek, I saw that you already did it.
So just to make sure that people understand what we're talking about here, I put our question from last time into the play testing segment, which was what was it, Agiza? Go ahead, tell everybody.
What are our predictions?
Right.
What should be our predictions for the next year?
Right. So the questions to you were, give us questions so that we'll make cool predictions for you in the predictions episode. And I posted some of the stuff that we did for last year, so you have an idea. Make it questions not like how many yada yada, but agree or disagree. So go there and do that one. And the question for this week that we are asking you for this segment, Ignacy, what are we asking them?
The question is very simple, very obvious, and we had to ask it. What did you find under the Christmas tree?
That's a great one. That's a really, really good one. I can't wait. Should I? I guess right. So we can answer it now too. We want everybody to post what they found, but we can answer it too. So Ignacy, go ahead. What are you going to find, or what do you think you're going to find? Do you know?
I have some spoilers, because I have this ongoing tradition over the years that me and my friends publishers from Poland, we exchange gifts before Christmas. So we are just updating our collection with the releases from this year. So at this point, next to my desk, there is a stack of games I already received from my friends. And in this stack there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games already, and I'm waiting for a few more packages. So I will find a couple of board games under my Christmas tree, and this is very fascinating for me because I love board games.
That's an easy gift, right?
Yep.
So what I'm going to find under the tree, I can only say about what I'm giving to my lovely girlfriend, which will be one board game. But also the thing that she wanted is certainly by the way, and the board game is sort of a sharesy gift, we call them, because obviously I'm going to get to play a 2-player board game. So the other thing though that I'm giving her, because she kept saying she wanted it, was an Oculus Quest. You know what that is? The virtual reality goggles.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So
that's cool.
Yeah. So they just came out with the new version called the Quest, which is completely standalone. You don't need to be hooked into a computer to use it. Though you can hook into a computer for even more content, which is kind of cool. So that's what she's going to find. But of course, I'm going to be able to use it too. I won't be able to tell you what I'm getting at because she keeps things very secretive. So.
Oh, cool. That's I'm just Googling it. That looks nice. You will be able to dance probably and jump and do all the crazy things with that.
Yes. So and the reason that I was convinced that it was a good idea to get this for her / for me is that it is like exercise. You really go crazy with moving when you're doing it. So they've got a game called Beat Sabre, which basically you have like 2 lightsabers and you're moving them and you're striking things and basically dancing, moving your body up, down, sideways. So I need to exercise. I'm a slug. I'm a sloth. And not a fast sloth. I'm a sloth. And I sit there and just watch TV too much. So I have to exercise. So this is going to be a way for both she and I to get some exercise in starting on Christmas Eve, I guess, when we'll probably exchange gifts. So
that is awesome.
Yeah. So please post in the play testing section on our BGG Guild for this specific question about what did you find under the tree, which Ignacy will put there now before I have to do that. And we'll talk about a little bit more about that when we come back for the next episode. So let's go to our final scoring.
Final scoring. Here's how you can stay in touch with Ignacy and Steven.
Hey, everybody listening, thank you so much for being out there and being part of this Board Games Insider family. Please tell everybody to download Board Games Insider wherever they like to get their podcasts. To ask us questions for our strategy and tactics segment, you must post them in the correct forum in our guild on Board Game Geek. Similarly, for the playtesting questions where we ask you, put them in the correct section there in our Board Game Geek Guild. We have our own Facebook page. On Facebook, of course, it's /Board Games Insider. And of course, the companies have their own Facebook pages, /Stronghold Games and /Portal Publishing. The company websites is strongholdgames.com, portalgames.pl, and portalgamesus.com. By the way, the Stronghold Games website and the Indie Boards and Cards website completely revamped, all new. The content is not 100% there yet, but go check it out. It looks completely different. Go over to strongholdgames.com to check out the new, cool-looking website that we put up. And of course, you can sign up for our newsletters and get up-to-the-minute information on what's happening at the company if you go there and sign up for the newsletter. On social media, if you want to talk directly to Steven and Ignacy, on Twitter, @StrongholdGames and @ChevyCheck, Instagram, same exact ones, and we both have YouTube channels you can enjoy. We hope to be seeing you at an upcoming convention. PortalCon's coming up, as well as the Dice Tower Cruise for me, so I hope that I'll be seeing a bunch of you at Dice Tower Cruise, and Ignacy should see a lot of people over at PortalCon, right?
Correct.
Please share your love for Board Games Insider with your friends. Oh, by the way, this show is edited by Matthew Jude from This Game is Broken podcast, and if you'd like him to edit your podcast, contact him on Twitter or via email at thisgameisbrokenpodcast@gmail.com. Ignacy, do we have something special that we can actually tell people about? Something.
Ignacy has something.
All right.
Do you have something? Or we have my secret or your secret or both secrets?
I think we're going to have to go with your secret this time. Go ahead.
My secret is invitation. Go to portalgames.pl/en, so my website. And during the Christmas, we will have some small surprise for our fans, a small mini expansion for one of our games. So we do it every year for like 10 years, like a really long time. Every year for Christmas, we have a small gift for our fans, and it is always some print and play free expansion for one of our games. So check it out this year. Again, portalgames.pl/en. We prepared something secret for you.
That's really a cool one, man.
Yep.
Oh, wow. Good for you. I love that you can give somebody some free content just by going over to the website.
Yep.
I got to do something like that, maybe. I got to think about it.
Next year.
Well, maybe I'll try to do it this year. We'll see. Anyway, thank you all again. We'll see you in another week. Have a wonderful, wonderful holiday season.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to Board Games Insider with Ignacy Chevicek and Stephen Bonacore. Board Games Insider has been made possible by you, our listeners and hobby board game enthusiasts. Ignacy and Stephen thank you greatly for your support of their companies and the hobby board game industry. Follow both Portal Games and Stronghold Games on Twitter, like both companies on Facebook, and sign up for their newsletters on portalgames.pl and strongholdgames.com. Please join us next time on Board Games Insider.
You're listening to the Dice Tower Network, the home of smart people, insightful board gaming commentary, and Ignacy Chevicek. Find out more at dicetowernetwork.com. Network.com.